Hello viewers, I'm R. Sriram, your host for this show. World Earth Day, also known as International Mother Earth Day, is a globally recognized event dedicated to raising awareness and promoting the sustainability of our planet. In essence, World Earth Day, celebrated annually on April 22nd since 1971, is more significant than ever in an era of growing concerns about the environment, depleting natural resources and severe climate change. In addition to highlighting the growing concerns, it provides a crucial forum for raising public awareness of these issues and encouraging and inspiring individuals globally to take action. The themes for each Earth Day vary, focusing on different aspects of environmental protection and sustainability, with the ultimate goal of building a plastic-free future for generations to come. EarthDay.org has announced Planet versus Plastics as this year's theme for Earth Day. As the world marks Earth Day, EarthDay.org renews its commitment to ending the pervasive use of plastics, aiming for a 60% reduction in production by 2040 to safeguard both human and planetary health. Now, to tell you about this in detail, we have an expert, Dr. Bharat Maitreya. Dr. Bharat Maitreya, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Dr. Maitreya is a professor in botany and research guide at Department of Botany, Bioinformatics and Climate Change Impact Management, University School of Sciences, Gujarat University, Ahmedabad. He also performs very creditable duties as chairman, convener, examiner, paper setter in Gujarat University examinations for BSc, MSc, MPhil and PhD. So Dr. Bharat Maitreya, today is World Earth Day, being April 22nd, and the theme for this year's World Earth Day is Planet versus Plastics. So could you please take us through your views and whatever you want to tell the viewers about this theme in detail?
Okay, thank you for this opportunity given to me on this world. Mostly we are saying that Earth Day, because in a living planet that all the living organisms, those who are alive on it, but the major problems or maybe some kind of hazardous things which we have, then we are going for its solutions. So now the theme for this 2024, where they on this Earth Day, that the planet versus plastics. So we know the most of the population, and when they talking about the very intellectual human population, where they are using day by day the plastics and plastic materials made up of the plastic, where they concerned with the plastic bottles of drinking water to any other kind of this liquid for this plastic bottles, plastic bags, and for this some kind of beverages which we are using this plastic cups and all. So generally after the use of this particular plastic, then we are thrown away. So generally this kind of plastic which are not degradable. So that's why the major kind of this pollutants which are involved in their particularly environmental conditions, either it is in water, soil, or maybe some kind of in air condition too. So this kind of the plastic, so nowadays we are thinking that most of the plastic bag, where our most of the waste material which are thrown from our houses, or maybe some kind of bargage in this particularly point of view at the roadside or any others, and there's some kind of domestic animals, those who are at them. So there are a major problem in their intestine
that they consume, and particularly the cows.
Yes, particularly.
And when we consume cow's milk.
Yes. So these are the major part. Even in water bodies like rivers or maybe some kind of sea or ocean, when they were thrown away, so by the sea animals like the fishes and others also impacts on it too. So day by day the plastic which we are using, and instead of this plastic that we use bioplastic, which are easily biodegrade. So that's option that we have to accept it, and we develop such kind of this particularly industries where the most of the bioplastic or maybe some kind of degradable plastic material which we have to use, if any kind of furniture, any kind of this molding parts or any kind of this kind of cups or bottles which we are uses.
What is bioplastic and how different is it from the normal plastic? What are the contents of this bioplastic?
So generally the bioplastic which are they made up of these biological parts, and mostly portion where there is some kind of the tree or the plant material which we are using. When we are saying that the sago palm, so it is very useful for it. Some kind of the Saccharum officinalis we also sugarcane we are saying. So from that particularly the juice of that part, then there is some material which we are using for that. So many more productions or by the enzymatic activity of the fungi, and we can produce some kind of this plastic or plastic kind material from it, and it is
not
very
exactly plastic, but
not exactly plastic,
something close to plastic,
but which are resemble like the plastics. Not a purely chemical, it's from biological part which we are using. So one of the students of our university department, those who are having this kind of dissertation works, then this particularly the GU-SAC which promote her, and she have a plan for that particularly biodegradable plastics, and they have their own company and produce this bioplastic for this material, and then we can easily use it.
No, is this bioplastic a recent phenomena or has been there since some years?
Since many years, but nowadays when we are affecting from this particular plastic material and population which are increased, and day by day use of the plastic material which are very used mostly in this urban population, so then we are thinking about that and we are going for that, and our technologies, those who are given the more opportunity to take some this model part of the bioplastic, so we can easily biodegrade it.
Okay, so now we're feeling the need, and that's why a lot of research is being done. And how far about the production of this bioplastic?
Yes, so majorly
is there a large-scale production of bioplastic materials?
Major companies, those who are having this particularly plastic kind of content, they use previously, but nowadays that the awareness programs are going there. Government also banned for the plastics. Many plastic bag where the 35, where the micron or maybe others, plastic we are banned in our city too. So many corporation, nagarpalikas and the city areas or maybe nationwide that particularly that we have awareness of it, and we restrict to the also the shopkeepers or maybe many the producers or maybe some mall owners too. So now we have this another options of the plastic, we can use it.
The laws are in place, but I think the problem lies in its implementation. So, like somewhere, I think we lack in implementation.
Yes,
what do you have to say about that?
Yes, the laws is there, because generally when any kind of the constitutional bodies or maybe some kind of, if there are uses of this more than the enough, so we have to some restrict that. So law is there, many pollution regarding that water or maybe air or any kind of soil or noise pollution, law is there. Any kind of forest deforestation, afforestation, forest, the laws and act is there. Also for the water and water bodies, law and act is there. So any kind of hazardous solid waste material, any kind of this health regarding materials for the microorganisms or no any kind of contamination we need. So laws and acts which are by this governmental organization is there, but if there are no any kind of awareness about it, and the people, those who really want the pure atmosphere or environment, so they have to follow the particularly laws.
But I'll come to this aspect later about this awareness and self-realization and all. Now plastics has come, I mean, it's become a part and parcel of our daily life. We use plastics, like you very rightly said, like right throughout the day. We use bottles, we use plastic mugs, everything. Now, how is it possible to suddenly give up this habit of or to give up this habit of using plastics?
So in this two-way part, that when we are customers and the shop owners or maybe some kind of particularly roadside vendors, those who are selling their products. So nowadays they are having the awareness about from the government or maybe some kind of act and laws are there. So generally they are thinking that if instead of that plastics, when we give this paper cup or maybe any kind of different materials, nowadays this particularly tea and others beverages, also they have some kind of this pot which are from the sandy or sandy materials or maybe some kind of completely the household or maybe in a marketplace. So the option for the plastics they use is nowadays in a society that we saw that most of the general awareness, also some kind of initiative from the school boys or girls or maybe some college girls boys, those who invent and they have a new ideas of it and they are producing more the option of the plastics is there.
I think where we are lacking is large scale serious implementation on a large scale. In pockets you might find some implementation, some law enforcing authorities coming and trying to implement the rules in place and punishing the offenders, but on a mass scale, on a large scale, still I think a lot needs to be done.
Yes, sir. Generally there's 100% awareness program which are given by the governmental flow is too, but when the acceptance, where it is public or maybe in public domain, there are some administrative or admin work which have some duties which have to major play for this particularly laws and this regulation activity, but the general awareness to the particular society persons is not going well. If they have thinking that the plastic which are more cheaper than the other products and we have to make more profit, and day by day they are using this kind of practice for that, but they have introduced the hazardous things in a environment.
There are financial considerations too which come into play. Now the World Earth Day is celebrated since 1971, right? It is almost more than 50 years. Has enough been done to mitigate the problems concerning earth and environment, or you feel that still a lot needs to be done and we have a long way to go?
See, when this origin of the earth, and we are thinking that this in major era, from the pre-Cambrian era to now this in advanced conditions, because lots of activities there. In a pre-era there are no any kind of technology to involve that particularly in a international the activities or maybe link up is there, but nowadays we are saying that www which connect each and every portion with us, because in a second click that you have information about the particularly all the earth area. Nowadays that we are targeting the another planet too, because we have recently that the Chandrayaan which are having a successfully we launch it, and so this kind of the advanced technology is there. So but the natural calamities or maybe some kind of these hazardous events which are going on earth, so we have to mitigate them each and every second or every days or every month or every year. So this kind of activity by natural or artificial is being there, but how to mitigate it, how to protect it, how to conserve it, and how to bring these natural resources. Because when we are thinking about the earth, so there are atmosphere, there are hydrosphere, there are lithosphere and biosphere. This four content that we have to reach there, and when we are targeting on this particularly this four kind of this particularly in as far as the earth is concerned. So if we are thinking that the person, those who are really know the science and those who are not know the science, so definitely they provide some awareness programs, then educational programs, then some training programs, and then the meeting with them, and to give this particularly area wise that problems and having some solutions. So they are
It has
easily
to be done in a very systematic manner, in a planned way.
that we have to going for it.
Okay, now one straight question. Now, if plastic is so harmful, why is there not a blanket ban on the manufacture of plastics?
No, but there are some other materials too that they have to be transported from one part to another, or maybe some kind of, if any kind of materials they have to provide us. So no any major option without this plastic is there. So most of the market producers, those who are thinking that we are having some kind of beverages like this, some kind of soft drink is there. So they have to fill up in this particularly one kind of plastic use bottles. But nowadays they are using that some kind of reuse plastics, because the 3 R's are there. Because when we are having reuse or reduce, or maybe some kind of that recycle way that we can produce. So most of the bottles or maybe plastic material, when we are recycling it, it is better for that, and they are trying for it.
So you want to say that plastic as such is not bad, it is very useful, provided it's put to good use and in an effective manner, and what matters most is how we dispose of. I think that
it is most important. True. It is true. It is more important that degradation is also there, or maybe recycle if we are. Nowadays this paper free in a generation like the synthetic paper which we have. But when these papers which are recycled, so it's not a problem because we are reusing it.
Now recently I read somewhere that even rice, you get plastic rice.
Yes.
Now, is it not very dangerous because it's something which we consume. Right. Now how does this happen, plastic rice?
So generally that in a population way, so some kind of this, some practitioners, bad practitioners, those who have make more profit for that, and for this particularly in a population, some kind of adulteration is there. So many more these bad practices which are in a particularly rural area, or maybe some kind of village area, or maybe some poor locality area, where they have to use these kind of things for their make this money or maybe profit. So there are concern with this particularly locality or their mindset for that particularly bad practice for that. So definitely they are having this kind of particularly technology, and they misuse them for that particularly. So
but can't the end user, I mean the consumer, by looking at that rice, can you not find out that it is artificial and such adulteration is taking place? Is it not possible for him to find out?
Each and every place, because there are not 100% particularly the plastic, the rice which are given, because some adulteration they mix up with this original rice powders. They are mixed up that with that. So that's why it has not been currently
easily detectable. It's not easily detectable.
Not detect, and if we consume it, we cannot have said the particularly all these plastic things which are.
Now, what are the factors that negate or rather neutralize the efforts taken by governments, institutions and communities all these years in making Earth a safe place to inhabit? Because these institutions and governments have been taking efforts, but somehow we feel that we are still there at the same place, we are not moved on. So what are those factors?
Yes,
is increase in population a factor?
I'm not saying that is not as move on, but in a larger scale, if we are thinking that this most of the school level programs or maybe university as far as the academics concerns, so environmental science subject where this it is mandatory for all to study it, and when the institutional or maybe university academic organization or maybe some kind of non-government organizations too, so and also major industries or maybe owners of the industries, so they are trying for this awareness program of the environment. And when we are celebrate such kind of like Earth's Day today, then the Water Day, then this Environmental Day, so this kind of days when we are celebrating, and in a not in a particularly in smaller scale, in a larger scale which we have. So state government or maybe central government, so they are celebrating this play, and each and every part, newspaper, this and media role is
Social
also
media is
there.
there these
Social
days,
media
yeah.
is there.
It's a very effective
very
mode of
effective
communication.
part. And nowadays students awareness, and they are having organized such kind of programs too.
Correct.
Each and every day they are celebrating.
I think this awareness has to be inculcated since childhood,
Yes.
so that it becomes a habit.
Yes,
Right.
that's why.
Okay. Now, laws have been enacted and offenders are punishable. Now, by offenders, I mean the ones who break the rules framed for prevention of degradation of our surroundings. Okay. Now, how far do you think legislation and punitive action can play an effective role in our endeavors?
Legislation or maybe act and rules which are generally this governmental process which are having.
Okay.
But the awareness, if there are no any kind of awareness for it,
Okay.
and one then those who are acting the bad practice, so they actually know that how long we are having such in a society that we are discuss this all these bad manners in it, because if any kind of the consumable part is also there, when we are using this part, particularly plastic cups or maybe some kind of bags or bottles, so very this cancerous materials when we are consuming it, so very hazardous things for the society, because every human being, they have right to live on earth.
Correct.
But some kind of, particularly for this marginal or money making practice,
Right.
so they are using this bad practice too. So the awareness program also, by this strict the punishment and the rules and regulation if they have, so they are bound. So each and every part, not only by this particularly plastics, the material,
Yeah,
but also
anything
in
for
a
that matter,
wildlife
yeah.
protection
Correct.
is also is there.
Right.
Any kind of this human the right commission is also there for the human being awareness program is there. So act regulation is there, but we have to prevent this activity, also mitigate this kind of bad practice activity, and then we have to give this particularly whatever the good part which we have to give the society to.
Yeah, I think the awareness levels are abysmally low, so much low that for all you know, an offender may not be knowing that he's committing an offense. At times,
Yes.
it might happen.
Yes, that is the main part of that, because being a intellectual or being the educated people, we know that we are not using this plastic, but anyhow, if in my house, if there are some kind of plastic which we have, but we can use it, but
Correct.
if some awareness in our family members too, so they are saying no, that
At
you
least
don't
you can reduce it to some extent, yeah.
not to use, reduce it,
Yeah.
or maybe any kind of this material, so you degrade it.
Correct. Okay, law is on one side, right? Now the other methods, the non-legislative, which we call the soft ones, the soft methods, like persuasion, education, creating awareness, promoting self-realization, and so on. So what do you think, a blend of both, like legislation and non-legislative soft measures, would work wonders?
But we are saying, if when we are thinking about to save our planet, save the earth, or maybe say to search our ecosystem, so I think there are, if any kind of this law or act is there or not, but as a human being, if we are thinking that this planet is at my home and I have to live in audit and we have to live together, so how we built up this particularly such environment pure,
Right.
air is pure, water is pure, if drinking water is available, natural resources are there, so we have to think about it. So I don't think that any kind of these rules and regulations, because rules and regulations are only for those who are overact, or maybe some kind of this extra hazardous material things they are using, or they are having a more and more polluted, because we think that the chemicals for dye industries, any others industries, those who are discharging the smoke in the atmosphere and have there's lots of pollution.
I think it has come from within.
Yes, nowadays we are in urban area that we have the CNG, and now the hydrological powers using or maybe hydrology techniques, we are going for it for our
It's
vehicles.
going to be a bit costly, but still
Yes, so
it will be useful.
we are too much use because law and act is there, but our other act to manufacture it in a such a way where this kind of things are not being happened in next. So we are thinking about it, but also some kind of restriction part, or maybe central or maybe state government or organization. So those who have this kind of particularly act or maybe some laws, so we restrict them, but not government, non-act or maybe any kind of no any kind of laws are there also they are using, because in a tribal area when you are saying, so they are also save their land part, they are save their forest part, they have minor and major products they have saved there. So tribal people doesn't, they are not a literate people,
Right.
but they even know that this kind of the nature that we have to save it.
Right.
So I don't think that it's need or not need, but if a human being which have a knowledge about to how to save our natural resources,
That is more than enough.
It is more than
That is how the
more
purpose.
than, more
Right.
than enough.
Okay, now where does India stand vis-a-vis the other countries in the world in, say, in taking steps towards stopping the degradation of Earth, and today being the theme of planet versus plastics, in taking measures to stop the use, the rampant use of say plastics?
So in the last 10 to 15 years that awareness program is also there, and our Prime Minister effort towards this United Nations Environment Program and UN. So generally that worldwide, so 16 SDGs goals which are there.
Okay.
So where the maximum part, where the more 2030 model or maybe 2040 model and up to the 2070, where this awareness program is there, and most of the particularly climate change events which are there, so we have to reduce them, because if there are the sea level content is there, rise in temperature is there, poverty is there, so living organism on the land part is also there. So our Prime Minister's effort as far as the India is concerned, so they take the major projects and major awareness, because we have the now the solar energy, we can use this.
Correct.
So renewable technique, reuse technique, resources there, and India has a major biodiversity other than the world area. So coastal part is we have the major part of the forest area is there. We have a mountain range like the Himalaya and others part is also there. So as far as the concern with the biodiversity is there, so major biodiversity part which we have, and also major natural resources we have.
Right.
So how to control it, how to use it, how to reuse. So by this program given by this Prime Minister and his effort, that we are saying that India, if there major population, because we and China, we have now in the population part,
thickly populated countries.
Yes, it's the populated, and we have to control for that part. So it is a major role from our central government or state government part. It's true.
Okay, now do you want to say anything else, or do you have a special message for our viewers on this World Earth Day, with special emphasis on say plastics?
So generally now this Earth Day and 2024, the theme for the planet versus plastics, because the another option that we have use of the bioplastic, or rather than the plastic, then others option if we have, and the younger generations and the budding researchers, those who are going for that and innovated more and more, particularly part where we are not using much plastic, and rest of the material we are using this bioplastic or biodegradable things which we have. So simply that reduce and reuse and recycle if any kind of content which we have, and we have protect our nature, so conserve the nature and deserve our better future on earth. It is a simple message for on today's Earth Day.
Okay, now on a lighter side, I read somewhere that the cosmetics used by women, they also contain some microplastics.
Yes.
which again plays a major role in spoiling the earth and its surroundings. So do you have any special message for them, or will you advocate lessening the use of cosmetics? So they might not take it very well, but still.
Yes, most of the like this, particularly in a cosmetic industries, where they are using such kind of material, because most of the part where they are the chemical or synthetic based processed material used in it. But nowadays that we are thinking, and most of the training program or maybe the government organization program, so many more stores which are in it, and most of the herbal products they are using for it. So the product and also the packaging of the product, also they are take interest for this non-use of the plastics, and then the plastic, then instead of that we are using some herbal parts or material, than the others the hazardous chemical part, we are take this kind of interest in it. And majorly we are saying that many more industries or maybe some kind of cosmetic or ointments industries, they are having this kind of practice too.
Good. So that was an important message for the women folk. This Earth Day serves as a reminder that everyone has a shared responsibility for the health of the planet, and that corporations, governments, communities and individuals must work together to achieve this goal and make Mother Earth a safe and nice place worth inhabiting. So thanks Dr. Bharat Maitreya.
Thank you
for taking your time off and making it to this show and delivering an enriching talk. It was a pleasure having you with us.